Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV, Libations Friday, loosey-goosey edition, approaching the new year, new content. Yes, this is not live. If you're driving around Tallahassee right now, it's pre-recorded. Need to get that out of the way for the FCC purposes, but it is same day. So, much like yesterday, away we go with Tom Lang and myself, and let's address Florida State as they get set to take on Georgia. Tom, I know you there in New York are not going to have this sort of interaction, but I'm having it everywhere I go right now, which is to say people coming up to me in stores and at restaurants and anywhere I'm out and about and saying, who's going to play? Do we have any chance to make this a game? What the hell is going on? And it is a weird time because I don't have great answers for them. I just don't.
Yeah, like if you look at the offensive depth chart, it's crazy. Like I don't know how they're going to generate any consistency of ball movement. Actually, we have it. I'll put it on the screen for those watching on Warchant TV. But it, like I said yesterday, it's almost like the other team in the spring game. It's like, there's the one team that's loaded up and then there's the other group. That's kind of what they're working with here. And to me, the question I have is, while Darius Washington is listed as a starter at left tackle and Maurice Smith is listed as the starter at center, that's wonderful if they play, but Maurice has been playing very hurt this season, so how much is he really going to be out there and be in the rotation? Like the offense is a mess. And you've got at one running back position, two wide receivers. Ja'Kai Douglas is one of your co-starting running backs. Jackson West is one of your starting tight ends in this game. Like it's a bit of a mess. But on defense, on the other side of the ball, you've got, outside of Jared Verse and Akeem Dent missing, you've got some pretty good players across the board. It would appear the linebackers are going to start for Florida State. The defensive interior should be, if Braden Fisk plays. They've got him on the marquee for this game on their social media. So if he plays with Darrell Jackson, Josh Farmer, you're pretty good up the middle. The defense might be able to keep you in this thing for a half, but the offense, I don't know. The answer is who knows who's playing and for how long.
The who knows who's playing and for how long is the big part of this. You're right to suggest that a combination of Darrell Jackson and Braden Fisk is a good one. It is. It is top-notch, in fact. In fact, had we had it all year long, Florida State would have been even more dominant on the defensive line than they already were. Conflicting reports about whether or not Farmer plays, Tom. We just don't know if he's going to play or not. So I don't hold my breath anymore. I never know with that kid where his head's at. That's public. Everybody knows that, right? It just follows Twitter feed. So you just never really know what that kid's going to do. I've also been kind of fishing about, I don't know how much these linebackers are going to play. So if all of a sudden you're looking at linebacker and it's not Bethune and Deloach for a lot of it, and instead it's Blake Nicholson and Omar Graham against Georgia.
Right, yeah.
And it's Kevin Knowles.
Well, what's interesting, yeah, I know where you're going with this. Akeem Dent was an important piece to the defensive back rotation this season. Kind of important. Made a difference when he wasn't out there. The one good thing I saw about Kevin Knowles on the two deep is he's listed as the lead man in the slot corner. He was a much better slot corner than he has been a safety. That's because Jerrion Jones, who oddly enough announced that he was going to play in the Orange Bowl, and then he didn't make the two deep, and now he says, after the two deep came out, he's like, I'm not playing in the Orange Bowl. Like, yeah, you're not on the list, man. I suppose that you're not playing. It's just a matter of they've got a lot of guys defensively on the top line that are good players. Like Patrick Payton, again, is top line starter on the two deep for the defense. If they all play the normal amount of snaps that they play, you can get some stops in this game. But we'll see. Every drive, if you're going to watch this game tomorrow, and I know a lot of Knowles who are deciding not to, but if you're going to watch this game tomorrow, every drive you got to do a head count and see what numbers are on the field, both offense and defense, because I would imagine there's going to be a lot of substituting going on.
Well, I want to point out to people that you absolutely should watch the game. I mean, I understand. I mean, be grown-ups about this situation. Florida State's probably not going to win this game. Florida State's probably not going to come close to winning this game. you understand that. We've watched some bad teams and bad situations in the past, but it's your team. And there's a chance to learn something about kids that will be playing for you next year, kids that are going to get opportunities to play a bigger role for you next year, and kids who maybe emerge as a reason to be excited about next year. Now, I have a lot of reasons to be excited about next year. I have a suspicion that Florida State's going to do very well in the portal. This is who they are. They're very good in the portal. They're still not great with high school recruiting. They're getting better, but they still have some failures there that continue to plague them. I'm really tired of that nonsense, by the way. It's going to be a different conversation moving forward. I'm done with that nonsense. But that said, there's some changes they need to make over there. But they are really good in the portal, consistently really good in the portal. And I do believe that there are players out there, and we are in, once again, we dipped our toes back into the wild, wild west here because of the unlimited transfer rule that the NCAA passed, which is the most asinine thing in the world. Nobody is able to really cobble together a roster that they can trust is going to be their roster moving forward going into a season. But if there's one group that has proven time and again that they have the right pitch, that they are saying the right things, and that they are convincing guys that this is the right place to get the most out of their abilities, to take a step forward and improve their draft stock, that place would be Florida State. And I think that they're probably going to hit some home runs there. So long term, I feel pretty good that they'll fill many holes that this roster now has, either because of attrition, graduation, NFL, transfer, whatever it might be. The Florida State will be able to fill a lot of those holes and have a good football team next year. We'll see if it's good to great or good to or average to good, but it'll be a plus team. I just, for now, the problem you have is, again, the sheer numbers, but watch for the younger players to see how much better they are. This is elite competition. I don't know who's not playing for Georgia. That's another thing, is you'll have to check their roster and compare it to our roster. And okay, this guy's, they don't have a guy here either. Oh, okay. I do know it does look like their starting quarterback's playing, and we're playing a true freshman against that Georgia roster. So that is a loss waiting to happen.
It is. I look forward to watching the game because I think this is going to benefit a lot of the younger players.
I do too.
For their career. I don't think that's idle talk from a coaching staff. I don't think that is sunshine pumping from a coaching staff. I think that's real. The benefit of playing this game for Brock Glenn is massive. If Destin Hill, and he was on the top line on the offense as one of the starting receivers, this is a big moment for him. If Hakeem is healthy enough to play, he's on the 2 deep, but he's not listed as a starter. I found that kind of interesting. But if he's in the rotation, he can play. It's a big moment for him. How about Keziah Holmes, who we really like as a running back? If
they can block.
If most of your starting five is out there in front of him, then he might turn some heads and make a couple of plays. It's a game about investing for the future. I'd be stunned if at the end of the third quarter we're in this thing. I would love it. But, we'll see. I think the line is correct. It's been creeping up. It's over 20, I think, as of Friday morning. Jeez, and I think that's about correct. The question is, and you'll know this, and this is something that happens in the course of a season when you play maybe an FCS team or a low-level FBS team. Sometimes the coaching staff is coaching just to get out of there. Run it into the middle of the line of scrimmage, get the clock running, and let's get out of Dodge. And I wonder if Kirby is going to coach that way or if they're going to want to maximize the amount of plays that they run. I would assume we're going to try and keep the clock running on offense tomorrow.
My hope is that both coaches do that. It's very interesting to me how you approach this game if you're Mike. You always coach. Now, one thing Mike did, even when he had bad teams, and his first couple of years here, this was a bad roster. Mike played to win. I mean, he never, and why do I bring that up? And somebody listening might say, well, you always play to win. There are plenty of coaches out there who don't always play to win. They play not to get blown the hell out. And there's a big difference. If you're throwing the ball around the lot down 28 in the second half, you're playing as if you're trying to come back and win a football game. Yep. That is probably beyond reachable as a goal. If you're playing not to get blown out any worse than you are currently being blown out, you run the ball into the middle of the line and you run that play clock down and you shorten the hell out of a game that you're down 3 touchdowns. Mike always played to win. when they were down big in games, he would play to win. And I would think I'd shudder sometimes and be like, Mike, this could get into the 60s if you're not careful, buddy. And I admired that about him, though. I admired that about him. I don't know what you're trying to prove tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see. Let's see if they're in the game.
This is why, gambling on bowl games is interesting because, there's storylines about what's a coach playing for, what's a team playing for. Is the coach trying to rally the locker room? Like, for example, yesterday in the Fenway Bowl, Rhett Lashley's down 9. It's inside 2 minutes. Boston College has the ball. They've just achieved a first down. They're in the red zone. Again, it's first down. He's got 2 timeouts. He uses both timeouts the way Harbaugh did in 2016 when we played Michigan in the Orange Bowl. And I think that's about sending a message to his players about we don't give up, we play to the last play. Like things like that. Bowl games have weird dynamics like that. Sometimes for no good reason, a coach is sending a message, and sometimes a coach says no mas, and the game's over. So watching back and forth the interaction between Kirby and Mike tomorrow will be interesting. Mike does cut it loose. You're right. Early in his career here, he did cut it loose, and they called the game to protect the ball for Brock. I wonder if tomorrow they call the game to be aggressive and see what Brock can do. It's fascinating for all the non-playoff reasons tomorrow.
I think, Tom, that's the story. You just hit on it, buddy. I love this. If he calls the game as if, okay, look, we had something to lose in the ACC championship game, right? There was something at stake. You thought you were fighting for a playoff spot, and you were trying to win the conference championship to complete the undefeated season. And there's a lot to lose there, and you have a true freshman quarterback making his first ever career start, thrown into the fire because your quarterback, Tate Rodemaker, didn't pass the concussion protocol. You thought he was going to pass the concussion protocol all week leading up to that game. And the later in the week it got, the more nervous whispers around the program were that, man, he's not passing this test right now. In fact, it's going to be a game day decision. He's got to try to pass the concussion protocol at lunchtime. And if he doesn't do it, it's Brock's start. Well, that tells me a couple things. It means Brock didn't get the reps as the one leading up to or have a game plan prepared for him, right? So they really thought Tate was going to start that game. And then it didn't happen. Okay, so the first play from scrimmage against Louisville, Braden Fisk fires through the line, blows up 2 offensive linemen, heaves the running back to the ground 6 yards in the backfield. All right, 2nd and 16. He caps off that drive or that lack of a drive for Louisville with another dominant play. So all of a sudden, you've got an indicator they can't block Braden Fisk. They can't block him. All right, well, here's a problem. If you can't block him, that opens things up for Verse. So now we've got a situation where you're in trouble offensively. You're a one-handed team at this point. You got to go the other way. Well, we got a guy over there too. Peyton can play a little bit, guys. So all of a sudden, within 5 minutes of that game starting, Mike Norvell knew Louisville couldn't play, that they were not going to score, that they were going to have barring a busted play or a special teams thing, they were not going to score. That allowed him to call the game as conservatively as he did. Basically, he's like, look, I'll run the Wildcats some. We'll figure some things out. I'm not going to let this freshman cost us this game. I'm not going to let a true freshman quarterback get himself into trouble. I'm going to win this game with defense because I can. Now, that takes incredible maturity and a lot of patience, and he did that. That is a very different situation. Now you're talking about a bowl game when 3/4 of your team is opted out. Now, understandably, they got snubbed. They're angry. Guys got NFL futures. I'm not blaming everybody here, and I understand it's an exhibition game, and I get that a lot of these guys are like, man, I'm not trying to get hurt when I can get drafted in the 3rd round, 4th round, and I'm not trying to get hurt when I'm going to transfer and start somewhere else. So I'm going to sit this one out. All right, well, that's the new reality we find ourselves in. How do you call the game now? Well, you got nothing to lose. I mean, you're a 20-plus point underdog going into this game against Georgia because of all of that has happened since the Louisville game ended. Let Brock play. Like, call the game and let him throw it around. Like, let's see. He's going to make mistakes. He'll probably throw a pick 6 if you do that, Tom. He probably will. Georgia doesn't suck. They've stockpiled recruiting class after recruiting class after recruiting class. They've got 5 stars everywhere. So even if they have 20 guys opt out of this game, the way Florida State has, guess what? Their backups are better than your backups because of that successful recruiting over the course of over half a decade. So they've got one 5-star replacing another 5-star, replacing a 4-star kid who's played a ton already, and he's now going to get his start, and he's going to want it. So Brock's going to make mistakes against that kind of speed and athleticism. But you might as well let him do it. I mean, let's see if he can play. What good is it going to do you to turn and hand the ball off to Keziah Holmes behind a depleted offensive line? It's now 2nd and 13. It's now 3rd and 16. It's now you're running a screen because this is what we do, and then it's going to get blown up, and you're going to punt. You're not learning anything at that point. Throw on 1st down when it's a neutral down, when you have an opportunity to have success, where they have to play you honest. Let Brock Glenn play the game.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I can see that argument. I think whatever Mike does, and I'm not typically this guy, but I think however Mike plays it tomorrow, I'm okay with. If he's running it into the middle of the line and he's not, quote unquote, learning anything, I think at that point he's telling us that during these bowl practices, he knows his team is so banged up or depleted that he's going to protect them, and he decides to protect them. I know that sounds like a loser's mentality. I'm just saying that this has been a disaster of a month.
Oh, and it's 100% a disaster of a month. It's been awful.
The dynamics behind the scenes, there could be a book written about this years later. And I'm not saying that I've got a ton of inside knowledge. All I know is that this can't be easy to manage that locker room right now. It's broken. Dudes have left. Guys are playing. Some dudes are playing through injuries. Some are opting out because they're going to go make millions of dollars at the NFL level. There are so many dynamics at play, many of which I have no idea behind the scenes what's going on. So if Mike decides that I need to get out of here in as few plays as possible, I'm okay with it because I'm going to assume that behind the scenes that's the best decision. My hope, though, matches what you're calling for, which is cut it loose, baby. Let the kids play. Let them have some fun. Let them learn on the job. This is an opportunity where there are no stakes if you lose. There's nothing to lose in the situation. There's only an educational experience to be gained against an opponent like Georgia. I hope that's the way he calls it. But if he doesn't, then he's sending a message to everybody that's watching the game that, guys, we're beaten up. We're beaten up physically. We're beaten up mentally, and I got to protect these dudes.
The question is whether you think you're protecting them by doing that. Are you protecting them by running it into the ground and trying to run the clock out and, get out of there before the game even gets started? I think you come out and let them play a little bit early. And then if you find out they can't compete, then you realize, okay, we don't have the manpower to make this a game. Like, let's say you find out you can't block them. Well, then I'm not putting Brock Glenn in danger. Then, if you can't block them, I'm not letting him sit back there and get killed. Well, so, there's that. But early on, I don't know, man. I'm going to play to win the game early.
Well, that's part of the dynamic here on offense because, again, the defense is mostly intact. But offensively speaking, that offensive line was banged up like crazy the entirety of the season. Like, who's actually going to play in for how many snaps? And we've lost some backups. So what's that 5 going to look like? And if that 5 is not the top line of the depth chart as we see it on Friday afternoon, then, man, I think you got to get out of there as quickly as you can. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, what we're talking about, I can hear us. I hear it right now. I'm stepping outside the Jeff Cameron show, and I'm the guy driving down the road who's a diehard Knoll who's, somewhat excited about going to the Orange Bowl and taking on Georgia. And I'm hearing that, and I'm like, listen to these guys. Hey, guys, we don't blow smoke on the Jeff Cameron show. This is not what we do. We'll tell you right now, I think we're going to get blown the hell out. I said that weeks ago. I saw the writing on the wall with this disaster. After we got snubbed, I realized, oh, my God, people are going to run for the hills. You're psychologically broken. Your coach is angry. You're trying to cobble together a roster. You're trying to finish off a recruiting class and get some kids in the portal. You're trying to keep other kids from leaving. Your attention's on anything but this game. And we've watched this line. I mean, look, I'm friends with people know I like to gamble. I took Arizona last night to beat Oklahoma. I thought Arizona would care to be there, would want to play. It was desperate for Arizona to win the game. It's the antithesis of what Florida State's going into this game thinking about. We're not that team from a year ago. We were last year. Against Oklahoma, ironically enough. This is the opposite of what you would want going into a game, and I hate it. And I was telling people, look, man, this thing's going to soar. I can't believe it's gone into the 20s. Now, you think about what this Florida State team is if they're fully intact. if this Florida State team has their starters playing in this game across the board. This is a Georgia minus 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
This is somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah. Because, again, this Georgia team is capable of playing a close game with Auburn the way Alabama was. So it's within range here for Florida State at full strength.
At full strength, yeah.
To win the ball game, and they could win it by multiple scores, and that would not be a 10-point win for Florida State at full strength would not be a stunning result.
No, not at full strength, but they are nowhere close to it.
Well, that's the thing, and Mike will know the dynamics. I'm going to trust him in this situation. I'm not coming at this with a loser's mentality. If you can cut it loose, cut it loose. But I'm fascinated to see what Mike thinks of the situation, and how he calls the game is going to tell you what he thinks of the situation.
You'll know in the first quarter. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment. PowerMill Training Academy equips motivated athletes focused on baseball and softball with the specific tools to reach their true potential. Now, you'll read that if you go to their website, but I'm here to tell you that, look, whether it's your daughter wanting to play softball, your son wants to play baseball, or maybe they just want to have fun and get the most out of their abilities, and that's where PowerMill comes into play. They've got coaches and camps that teach for every level of play for your son or your daughter. To learn more, go to PowerMillSports.com.
The perfect gift under the tree this year is a new spa or hot tub from Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas. There's nothing like resting your jolly old soul in the spa after a long, stressful day. And it's the gift that keeps on giving all year long. Heat up your holiday with the end-of-year sale going on now at Pinch A Penny Pools and Spas. During the month of December, go to our new website, TallahasseeHotSpring.com, and fill out the contact form to receive an instant $1,000 off coupon towards the purchase of a Hot Springs hot tub. Get in touch now before this deal ends. Also, take advantage of up to $6,200 off select High Life models and get a free accessory with the purchase of your new hot spring spa with affordable financing for qualified buyers. Come see Cameron. Visit TallahasseeHotSpring.com or check us out on Facebook or Instagram. That's TallahasseeHotSpring.com. Coupon cannot be combined with any other offer. Come see us for the end of year sale. Happy holidays.
I'm Greg Tisch, and I'm here to tell you about TCC's first semester. In the fall of 1966, about 300 students were expected to enroll at the brand new Tallahassee Junior College. A total of 698 enrolled, exceeding everyone's expectations. The campus was not finished, though, so classes took place in Rickards High School and then Godby High School. Today, TCC has 7 campuses and enrolls around 15,000 students annually.
TCC thanks our community for 58 years of support. We look forward to moving into the future together.
Hi, this is Justin Colvin, founder of the Medicare Help Desk. I routinely speak to seniors who are overwhelmed by the multitude of coverage options available to them. That's why I created the Medicare Help Desk radio show. Tune in every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. where I provide clear answers to all your questions about Medicare.
Before you buy that new iPhone or iPad, be sure to talk to the experts at Mac & More Systems to make sure all your older products will play nice with your new gear. Mac & More Systems has the best deals, advice, and the best support for all of your Mac products. Give them a call today, 894-3622.
This is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. If you're a dad who is facing divorce, there are extra layers of stress that may include stereotypes and assumptions. No two situations are the same. Our legal experience and dedication prepare us for whatever legal challenges we face together. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has represented men in divorce.
CordellCordell.com. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Scott Trout, licensed in Missouri, Illinois, and Georgia only. 904-323-0000. 1 Independent Drive, Suite 2200, Jacksonville, Florida, 32202.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
It's just such an interesting, I know, but Libations Friday is a loosey-goosey, fun affair. It doesn't sound like it out the gates with us talking about Florida State likely getting blown the hell out against Georgia. But listen, again, I think you can have these conversations like an internal dialogue. It's really just us and the fan base huddled around the fire, having a cocktail and talking about the future is the way I look at it. And I don't get mad about things like that. We're coming off a 13-0 season. I don't care if it's 60-0 or 24-21. If you lose the game, you're still 13-1. That's what you are. You finished 13-1. And we all know it as something that is separate and apart from the regular season and conference championship. So I always just look at this as kind of a nothing bowl game, unfortunately. And I hate the set of circumstances that led to us feeling that way. Everything from the snub by the committee, everything from college football in the midst of a massive transitional stage, which means there is real upheaval all over the country. I mean, these bowl games, I talked about it yesterday with Tom. These bowl games have been rendered useless. Most of them are exercises in in-game betting. And I have done exceptionally well. I am making money hand over fist right now because these bowl games, the kids tell on themselves, the coaches tell on themselves 5 and 10 minutes into the game, guys. You just sit down and watch with a discerning eye any of these bowl games, and you'll see whether that under needs to be hit, because there's been a lot of games with inclement weather. And then also you'll find out who cares to be there. And most of the time you kind of know going in. Like, again, I referenced it yesterday. South Florida was an underdog against Syracuse. How? In what world was Vegas thinking that was the smart line? How? Syracuse fired their coaching staff. USF's got a guy who just guided them in year 1 to a bowl game. They've been god-awful for years. That team was going to always care to play that game. That team was trying to go and make a statement. That never felt like it was going to be a game to me. So I bet them on the money line. And they won 45-0. Now, I haven't won every bet. But what I have done is figured out Arizona, Oklahoma last night. Arizona cares to be there. They want to win the game. Oklahoma may play hard. It may be an interesting game. Arizona's going to win this game. And I got to give 2? I got to give 2? They won by 14. That's an easy rocking chair cover, guys. This has been fun, but that's the only reason it's been fun, is that you can make money on it. It's not the reasons that we cherish. I like making money, but it's not the same as caring about the overall health of the sport and watching these bowl games in a way in which you sit down and know both teams want to win. It's not true. It's not true right now. And the weirdest thing about our bowl game is I don't know that either team is really enthused about playing the game. I know Florida State's in shambles, and there are probably some young kids excited to get out on the field and play in an Orange Bowl, and it is a big deal in that sense. If you're a young kid, can you imagine you're 1 year removed from high school and you're third string on the depth chart, and things play out in such a way that now you're going to suit up for the Garnet and Gold, the team you've always dreamt of playing for, that you've got a scholarship to play for, that you've been practicing with every day and never really getting into games unless they're blowouts or lopsided affairs against lesser teams. Maybe you've had a few plays here or there, and you're going to get to play in an Orange Bowl against Georgia. It's got to mean a lot. I'm not saying it doesn't to those kids. But in terms of the overall feel of what Florida State's got going into this game and their chances, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like they're excited to be there. And Georgia, how devastated is Georgia? They've lost like 1 game in 3 years, and they got told that not only are they not good enough to make the playoff because they narrowly lost to Alabama, but hell, they're not even better than Florida State. The logic didn't follow. They fell all the way to 6th. What are they playing for? What are they playing for?
I mean, yeah, if you're going to be Herb Street or the playoff committee and say it's about the best 4 teams and Georgia's not in the field, they've got a great argument for saying, why aren't we one of the 4?
Correct.
You're telling me we're not one of the 4? We've been number 1 all season long. Well, after a few weeks, they passed Michigan, and then I think it was the Kentucky blowout, and then they were there the rest of the way.
Yeah.
You're telling me that out of our last 30 games, we've lost once, and we're not one of the best 4 teams in the country? Because if the goal here is it's always been about the best 4 teams.
Oh boy,
they've got a claim. Now the issue is they've got better high school talent, and they are champing at the bit to play. They're champing at the bit for this particular game.
I'm worried about it. I'm worried about that aspect of it. Yeah,
we've got some of that, but not as much as they do.
No,
but we've also, I mean, I don't know. This is just an unprecedented feeling for the fan base, and it's got to be unprecedented for the locker room. That's why I'm wishy-washy about the way that this game's going to play out, our motivation. I'm not holding anything against anybody tomorrow. If they look lackluster or dispirited at some position groups, I'm not going to hold it against them. We as fans, we as fan media members like you and me, we're a combo of the two. I still haven't shaken it off. Can you imagine? And for most of the fan base, that's true. Either you're more mad than you were that Sunday, or you can't summon the energy and the butterflies like you normally would when you played Georgia. Oh my God, you should be amped for this game. And it feels, now imagine that you just put a year's worth of work, blood, sweat, and tears, literally, as a student athlete. And you're the one in that locker room that was told that you're not good enough. How are they going to summon the energy? It's just, this is such a difficult ask for this roster. Whatever they do tomorrow is whatever they do. I'm proud of this group and the guys that are suiting up to go play, but we'll see, man. We'll see how much energy they truly have, especially those guys that are the starters and the veterans.
Kind of reminds you, and people are wondering, like, well, Jeff, you say, what does Georgia have to play for? Well, listen, again, Tom's right about the fact that their young high school talent is greater than ours, so they'll be excited to play. And the other problem you have is their starting quarterback is starting. You've got a kid that's an NFL quarterback who's going to be starting against a depleted Florida State roster. That more than anything is the real problem, is that their starting quarterback decided to come back, A, and B, play. Really? Okay, great. That's problematic for us because he's really good. The other thing is that I don't think, and this probably changed, on the day that it happened, it changed everything about the outlook of this football game. I don't think anybody thought Tate Rodemaker was just not going to play. It was going to opt out at the last second. It was going to decide to enter the transfer portal on like Christmas Day. Like, okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else going to go on here? I mean,
that's the hard. And like, we're going to do the pregame show tomorrow. That's at 3:00. We're going to be looking at the thread, the reports from the press box as to who's exactly warming up versus what we see in the 2 deep. That's going to be interesting because look, if you tweak something or you're not 100% and you're a Braden Fisk or you're Tatum, like, man, do yourself a favor. It sounds so loser bloodish, but this is a unique circumstance that Florida State finds itself in. If push comes to shove and you can't go at 100%, then go let a kid play. And that kid might get smoked, but let Justin Cryer play at linebacker. Let Destin Hill and Hakeem Williams go out there and ball to the best of their ability, as close as they possibly can. Let Keziah Holmes try to make a difference, or Sam Singleton. This would be for him another opportunity as a true freshman against Georgia. I don't know that Ja'Kai needs to be out there for 12 targets. Let's give a couple of carries to Sam Singleton. Like, I
completely agree. When I saw that depth chart, I went, why? I don't need to see Ja'Kai Douglas playing running back. That's asinine. There's zero reasons to have Ja'Kai Douglas playing running back. He's never going to start for you at running back next year. That's just dumb. Don't do that. Let Singleton run the ball. Let some of the other kids run the ball. There's no reason to have him back there handing him the football. That's just silly. And I'm with you on this. The only area I get excited to watch is the wide receiver position. If Hakeem Williams is going to play and play hard and be healthy and give it a go, if Destin Hill is going to be healthy and play hard and play smart, if you get the chance to see Vendravius Jacobs, who's got all the ability in the world. He's backing up Darion Williamson. I mean, let Deuce Spann and Vendravius Jacobs and Hakeem Williams and those guys go out there and play. Let's see what we got, because they're coming back and they've got a chance to be really good. Like you may have something there in those kids. And so if all of a sudden I'm watching Portier, Williams, Hill, Spann, Jacobs, I get excited about that. I will. That's why I say let it fly.
Yeah,
let Brock Glenn let it ride.
And just for those of you that are driving around the area right now or listening on the podcast, we've got the 2 deep up on the screen, but the offensive line, as it's listed by Florida State, if the starters are true to form here, it's Darius at left tackle, Casey Roddick at left guard, Maurice Smith at center, Dimitri Emmanuel at right guard, and Jeremiah Byers at right tackle. Now, Darius Washington is listed 3 times on the 2-deep. At left tackle, he's primary backup at right guard and also at right tackle. So
4 times if you count that he's a starter at left tackle.
That's true. Forgive me. Yes, he's in bold as an or with left tackle, right guard, and right tackle, but he's also your primary backup at center. He's not in bold at that position. So Darius, get ready to play. It's almost like the Buster Posey game where he's going to play every position. Maybe Darius will line up at quarterback at one point too. But if that is your starting offensive line, you do have a chance to put some drives together if that's the one that's out there. But if you're seeing Armella and Early and some of the other players get out there in this game in the second quarter,
Tom Lang.
That's where you start to see Keziah. Let's run Keziah out there. Maybe let's run a little Wildcat with Deuce-Spann and Keziah. That might be fun. But if it holds that those veterans are out there for the bulk of the snaps, you can run an offense, and you can see what you can get out of Brock Glenn and those receivers.
I'm going to give you a reason to have hope. Here you go, guys. When we come back here in just a second, I'm going to talk about somebody that I think Florida State has a very good chance to get, and it's a massive difference maker. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Excellence defines us, so we'll never let orthopedic pain and injury define you. TOC is a physician-led team of fellowship-trained specialists providing the highest level of orthopedic care in the region. With 12 centers of excellence and TOC Now urgent care clinics, our patients access affordable, expert care fast. TOC, only experts. Schedule an appointment at teamtoc.com.
So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu. Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chungla, as I call it.
The bungalow chung, Jeff?
Is that what is the pork?
The bungalow chung, Jeff.
Okay, the bungalow chungla. It's delicious. All these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of that nobody would know and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Real quick, put in a shout out for my guys at Orange Theory Fitness. Got a good workout in yesterday. We're recovering from the holidays. It's time to start kind of gathering. I'm not going to lie, guys. I've overdone it this holiday season. I have eaten everything there is to eat and then gone back for seconds. I've done it 2 and 3 and 4 times. It's been ridiculous. I have been a fat piece of garbage sitting around watching football all hours of the night, just stuffing my face out of sorrow for what's happened to this football program, thanks to the committee. And I need Orange Theory Fitness now more than ever, and so do you. Luckily, there are 2 locations. North side here, where I live, over there by the Fresh Market, and then also in Midtown. Orange Theory Fitness right now, best offer you're going to get. Best offer you're going to get. This is like when they first opened and they were doing all those specials. That's what they've got going on right now through the new year. Go by and see our friends at Orange Theory Fitness. Science-backed workout. It works. It's not no mumbo jumbo. We think this is going to, no, it's interval training. It's what FSU uses. This is the kind of thing that you know you're going to get results. Orange Theory Fitness. All right. That was kind of more of an admission than a commercial read, but I've been ridiculous, Tom.
I haven't been as much because, moving in the holidays right after, signing day, and then FSU's like, hey, by the way, we're going to call a board of trustees meeting because we're going to sue the ACC. All right. There's been a lot going on. I cannot regulate my temperature today. Buddy, it is like 75 degrees in this house. It's warm for being 45 degrees outside. It's warm in here, and I've got 3 layers on. I cannot regulate. It's ridiculous.
That's sickness, Tom. That is called sickness. And by the way, I think it's interesting that you're in New York. And as I sit here in Tallahassee, Florida this morning doing this show with you, it is currently 40.
40?
It is 40. And I would also note that the low this morning was 36. The low tomorrow is 34.
Yeah, it's 47 here. Warmer than you
How
are.
about that? Colder in Tallahassee, Florida than it is in New York right now, everybody. Kind of funny that it worked out that way. Well, we needed it because we had nothing but heat lately. All right. So I said before the break that I had some good news for you as my left ear itches beyond reason. What is going on?
Who's talking about you?
What'd you say?
Your ears are burning. Who's talking about you right now?
Yeah. We got a guy. We got a guy that we're targeting. And unfortunately, everybody knows who he is. And so they too are targeting him. Everybody from Colorado, some say Alabama, certainly Louisville and others. But if you haven't seen him, go take a gander at the highlight reel of Purdue's Nick Scorton. This is a man off of the defensive end position who, if Florida State is to get, is a huge, immediate impact player, game wrecker at defensive end. This is, in a way, guys, a replacement for Jared Verse, and it may not be a downgrade. You may have a player that is as good, maybe better than Jared Verse. And that is saying something because I respect the hell out of Jared Verse. But go look at Nick Scorton. He is 6'4", 280 pounds, led the Big Ten in sacks. They couldn't block him. He had big games against the best competition. There are a lot of good offensive lines in that conference. I will give the Big Ten that. That is an interesting effort from Florida State to bring in and continue this streak of amazing defensive end prospects that, since the portal has become a thing, Florida State has led the way in bringing in the best of the best. If you want to go back to Jermaine Johnson, we talk about Keir Thomas, we talk about the guys that they've brought in, obviously Jared Verse, and now potentially this kid from Purdue, Nick Scorton, I think is how you say his name, or Scourton. He is a stud. And if they get him, and there's a really good chance they're going to get him, I'm not giving you a guarantee, but there's a very good chance that they're going to get him. If they do, understand that you are filling a massive hole with an elite player. Check the box, move along. That would be huge, and I do think we could find that out relatively soon.
So the hard part when you're breaking something like this down is to say, all right, you're done at this position, because the NCAA says anybody can leave anytime, go anywhere.
Which I mean, this is ridiculous. They got to get a handle on this, but yes.
It's pure anarchy at that point. However, with that said, we've got to work with what we have before us on the sheet. You know, who's on Seminoles.com is officially a part of Florida State's roster at this moment on December the 29th. If you were to land this kid and you do retain your players up the middle in Darrell Jackson and Josh Farmer.
That's big if.
Big if. Again, this thing is ridiculous and fluid.
Yeah.
But if you retain those two dudes, you have Peyton coming back and this guy, and your top rotational defensive end is Marvin Jones Jr., in addition to Gilbert Edmond and Byron. I mean, all of a sudden, this defensive line turns into a beastly defensive line and a defensive rotation. And they would be a worthy successor to the one that we saw close out this regular season. If you can do all of those things, and we'll see, but if you can land all of those pieces, buddy, the projections, the expectations, all of it for 2024 get ratcheted up really quickly.
It's exciting to think about what they could be. I do. It's necessary. I would probably protect myself at this point if I were Florida State and go get another defensive tackle, because I don't know what's going to happen with those kids. You got to. It's hard to know what's going to happen with Farmer and Jackson and Peyton. All those guys kind of make noise for all the wrong reasons all the time. I'm not talking about anything abhorrent. I'm not talking about crimes or anything. I'm just talking about they're very fickle kids, and their commitment is always in question. So I think I would probably go get another defensive tackle. But you're right. If you can get this kid and some semblance of what you just laid out there is your defensive line next year, you're going to be all right there. They've got to go find a way to get a linebacker in here. They don't have one right now. They've got to target one. I thought they dropped the ball. I didn't get a chance to talk about this because we were off the air. But the Dumas kid from Georgia, who ended up at Kentucky, Tom, was a Butkus Award finalist at Georgia, had over 70 tackles, and somehow we didn't see fit to go after this kid. We didn't think that he needed to come to Florida State, and he ends up at Kentucky. This situation at linebacker has come to a head, and you guys know how I feel about that situation. I think both from a recruiting standpoint, a coaching standpoint, and then also in a portal situation, I don't think that we're armed the way we need to be within the coaching staff to go get the best players at that position. And I would assess that situation very carefully if I was Mike and be aggressive in the offseason. He's shown a willingness to do that. You remember Woodson. They moved on from him, and they brought in Surtain. I think they need to do something similar, in my opinion, at linebacker right now, because it's a little untenable in my opinion. Now, let's see. Do they go out and get another offensive lineman? Would you agree that's got to be another selection here? Or they got to get another offensive lineman? They don't have enough right now in the 2 deep.
Yeah, I agree. Now, the thing is that you've got a visit window for the portal next week. It's after New Year's. Things are so fluid that kids could leave at any time, but the portal windows are the portal windows. So when you're talking about roster projections for the spring, you got to be enrolled in order to be able to participate in spring practice. So we are going to get some clarity in a very murky time for college athletics in about 2 weeks. And remember that if they don't go get that offensive lineman, or if linebacker is not addressed before spring practice, there is going to be another window in which you can address these issues. Yeah. I think for those two position groups, it's not critical that you have to have an answer now. If you've got a great opportunity, then go land a kid. But you're trying to bring in a veteran. And so I would think a veteran can be a summer enrollee, work his way up through fall camp, and be ready to go for Dublin when we go play Georgia Tech. That's fine. But when you're trying to land pieces that are going to be multi-year solutions here, the sooner the better. And we'll see what happens over the next week. Now, like you said, you've got a perfect opportunity here with a kid out of Purdue that can help you right away, and you got to land him, and you got to land him now. But if they don't have all of the solutions in 2 weeks' time, and you roll into spring and there are some open position groups like linebacker doesn't have all the answers, you still have another window where you can go capitalize. And there's also the old school thing, which is graduate transfers too.
You do. I think you want to get everybody here in the spring as best possible. We all know you want those reps. You want to be able to get kids indoctrinated to your system and have them learning in the spring so that they can hit the ground running in the fall, as opposed to learning when they first get here in the fall and then they're behind when the season starts. So I agree with you. You do have a window there, especially if you get a veteran player. But I would hope that we can make a little headway here in that next week that you're talking about and grabbing some of these veteran players. I'm desperately hoping we get the Nick kid from Purdue. I'm desperately hoping that there's maybe another defensive tackle or offensive lineman in there. And of course, I'm just it's the obligatory linebacker discussion every time I do a show. It'd be nice to see that happen.
Well, the other hard part is that we said this yesterday, buckle up for the next week. I mean, as if you haven't buckled enough seatbelts in the last month if you're a Florida State fan. But coming out of this game, when the game is over, those first 24 to 48 hours, it feels like it never ends, because it does never truly end in this age of college football. Once that game is played, you're going to get some clarity about, kids that are currently on the roster, kids that are going to put on the pad and the helmet tomorrow, whether or not they want to be a part of, Florida State in 2024. So I think it's going to get a little worse again before it gets better. Just trying to prepare everybody mentally for that.
I think it's important too, and I this is the final thing we'll say on this before we get into hour number 2, but the job requirements are changing for coaches right now. First thing I'll say, if I'm a head coach in college football, or first thing I'll say about being a head coach in college football right now is no thanks. No thanks. I have zero desire to do this if this is the landscape. If this is what we're doing, and I got to re-recruit a kid every hour on the hour. I got to take phone calls at 9 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Day about kids leaving. I got this is not for me. If I have an opportunity to go to the NFL, I'm going to the NFL where the rosters are secured. We sign people to multi-year deals. I don't have to worry about whether or not Roger's coming to work tomorrow. We're going to be all right. That said, not everybody has that option. And if you are going to coach college football and you are tasked with the responsibility of putting together a good roster and going out and winning football games next year, one of the things Mike has to do now is keep people from overreacting to individual situations within a 24 to 48 hour period of bad news. And this would classify as that. If they go out and get blown out tomorrow, there will be emotions. Wins and losses happen for a reason. I say it all the time, and they elicit emotions. Mike's primary job at that point is to say and get these kids to understand that's not who we are. You know that. Who we really are is that 13-0 club that's climbed to a place that can be amongst the college football elite for the foreseeable future. I need you coming back next year because you're my guy at this position, and you're going to help lead the way. So he's got a lot of massaging to do over the next 72 hours or so to see if they can get kids to calm down and refocus. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with. Our partner, ISF Inc., is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Hello, I'm Dana Brooks.
And I'm Jimmy Basic of Basic Brooks Law Offices.
Traffic cameras are everywhere these days.
And Basic Brooks has partnered with RoadProof to get access to all their vast network of cameras.
This is a valuable tool to help us search for evidence that could help you if you were involved in an accident.
If you've been hurt in an accident, call Basic Brooks and we'll find out if the proof you need is out there.
Call Basic Brooks and we'll do everything we can to help you come back stronger.
Call us now at 850-777-7777.
Man, I just got a text from my wife. She wants me to cook dinner and then snuggle on the couch next to a roaring fire.
So what's the problem, Dave? You already got the new grill and you're a great cook.
I got one major problem. We don't have a fireplace.
Man, that's an easy fix. Just call Hearth and Patio. They got a lot of fireplaces that can help you for your romantic evenings. Wood, gas, electric, and a ton of different sizes, man. Call Hearth and Patio today, 850-727-4282, or visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio. Ignite that spark in your life.
Hi, everybody. It's Ed Dean, Florida's #1 statewide radio talk show, now in Tallahassee afternoon drive from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on Real Talk 93.3 FM. Yes, highly entertaining, fast-paced, never boring. We always give you the story behind the story when you catch the Ed Dean radio show. And we are ready to go. Tallahassee daily, 5 to 6 p.m. It's the Ed Dean radio show on Real Talk 93.3 FM, WVFT.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those darn leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3 WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
Did you know cooking nuisance alarms are the top reason for disabling smoke alarms? Introducing First Alert Precision Detection Alarms. Updated to the newest industry standards, these alarms feature new precision detection smoke alarm technology to help better distinguish cooking smoke and steam from a fire emergency. First Alert Precision Detection Alarms also provide early warning in the event a fire breaks out. Materials in today's homes burn hotter and faster, allowing less time to escape, which means every second counts. Current smoke alarms will continue to provide protection until they reach their end of life. But alarms don't last forever and need to be replaced at least every 10 years. If it is time to replace your alarms, or if you want to upgrade to the latest technology, visit firstalert.com or your local Lowe's store to help protect what matters most. Sponsored by First Alert.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test.
Your heating and air conditioning system doesn't check with you before it takes a break. That's why we're always ready to help. Any day, anytime, anywhere. And with our annual service agreement, there are no overtime charges. Ever. At Verno Heating and Air, we will always be there for you.
Barry knows heating and air conditioning.
License CAC 1816186.
I'm Stephanie, and I work for Paul's Termite and Pest Control. I've been working here for over 11 years, and to say making the switch to Paul's has been life-changing is an understatement. First, we provide a service that truly helps people protect the health of their families and pets from disease-carrying bugs and rodents, plus their homes from destructive termites. So when I go to work every day, what I do really makes a difference. Second, I have grown professionally in the company. I was hired by Paul's in customer service, and now I'm the customer service leader. While my responsibilities have grown, so have my pay and benefits. It's such a blessing to work with friends doing something that helps people, plus being well paid. If you're in a job that provides minimal pay and satisfaction, we have openings right now. Paul's employees receive many benefits like CHP, 401k, paid vacations, and holidays. We work Monday through Friday and provide extensive training so no experience is required. Call today to learn how we can improve your life.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, Libations Friday. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year's in advance. Although we will have a chance to talk to everybody tomorrow because Tom and I will be doing the pregame show at 3 o'clock. It's going to be an interesting pregame show. We will have opportunity to speak with Ira and Aslan and Corey, and we'll figure out what's what down on that field as they warm up. Kind of figure out who's going to be out there and who's not. But I'll wish you a happy New Year's then, too, and try to get you guys to think about the big picture as opposed to what's about to happen in that particular game. Let's put it that way. On Twitter, it's at Jay Cameron Show. T. Lizzie's here with me. Actually, he's in New York, but he's here with me now, which is a good thing. And you're driving about having recovered from Christmas and trying to figure out, okay, what day is it? That has been a thing. It's been a theme for me this week with all these bowl games on just randomly in the middle of the day. Tom, do you find yourself walking past the TV? You're like, oh, there's football on. Is it Saturday? What's today? What is happening? Yeah, because it's been a weird week. It's been a weird week.
It's been thoroughly confusing, and it's been especially so because I'm waking up in a place that I've never slept in before. And we pulled, I don't know if I said this on the air, but we pulled an all-nighter when we drove up after the ACC Board of Trustees or the FSU Board of Trustees meeting in which they said they're going to sue the ACC. I actually stayed behind to make sure that broadcast went off without a hitch. And of course it did because you were driving it. But
it was a flawless effort on our part. Thank you, Tom.
Then we did, it was 18 and a half hours with the stops straight through. We got here on Saturday at about 10 in the morning. And it has had its own little jet lag effect. Then there's the holidays. And then you're right. It's like, what day is it? This is a thoroughly confusing couple of weeks in T. Lizzie's lifetime. Yeah.
The good news is that it's Friday, buddy. It's
is
Friday.
it? Is it?
It's
Really?
Friday. Start the party over again, buddy. It's Friday. Here we go.
No,
Got a couple of days.
I'm going right to bed as soon as we're done. I gotta do a score prediction, which Aslan put in the Slack. He said, "Do the score predictions." I'm like, what the hell? How am I going to pick the score of this football game tomorrow? I don't know. But then after that, buddy, it is under the covers because I'm shivering.
Yeah, struggling through today's show. You're a trooper. I will say this. I got to do the Warchant report today with Aslan and Ira, and you just reminded me that I've got to get to the score prediction, and this is probably the quirkiest endeavor that we've ever had when it comes to score prediction. Typically, I have a game plan. I have an idea of exactly why I think what I think. What do you really know? What can you hang your hat on in this game? I mean, other than Florida State is seriously outmatched right now, given the opt-outs, given injuries, given declarations for the NFL. And, you'd be up against it if you had all your starters, but no Jordan Travis. Obviously, a broken leg meant you were never going to have Jordan Travis. But let's say that this was a playoff game and you were without Jordan Travis, but you had Johnny Wilson and you had Keon Coleman and you had Trey Benson and you had Jaheim Bell and you had the full complement of weaponry that you needed. You would really be up against it without having your starting quarterback trying to beat Georgia.
Yep.
But now you remove Tate Rodemaker from this mix and you're trying to beat Georgia with a true freshman quarterback making just his second career start with none of the aforementioned weapons. So that is very, very difficult.
Well, when you put it like that, to me, we talked a lot in hour one, and if you were in the car for the first segment, you're joining. I'm going to try to be a little bit more positive this hour.
Hang in.
Because there's so much unknown. However they play it out, whatever they put on the field tomorrow, I'm not going to hold it against them, and I'm not going to I'm not going to draw finite conclusions, good or bad, based upon it's a bowl game and it's meaningless. But I hope that they're healthy enough on the offensive line.
Yeah.
And I hope that they're healthy enough between the ears that Mike Norvell embraces the chaos of this game and just tries to go and light it up. Trick plays, weird stuff, like go for it, man. Just go for it. I hope that they're in a place physically and mentally that Mike Norvell says, all right, let's push those buttons and just go and see what kind of hell we can raise.
This is a good point because you talked about a little bit of maybe he tries to protect them. Maybe he tries to. He realizes I got no Dukes. I can't compete right now. We've just huddled in the corner here, guys, hoping to get that bell to ring because we don't have a lot to offer. It's a fighter who separates his shoulder or breaks his hand, and this happens. I'm a big fight fan and boxing anyhow. Used to be. And you would watch fights and you'd watch a fighter in the fourth round and the fifth round. It's a great fight. It's even. They're exchanging. It's smart. It's the great science. It's all those things. And all of a sudden the fifth round starts or the sixth round starts and the guy's not throwing punches. Yep. And you start watching carefully. You're like, wait a minute. He's not tired. What is going on? And then you realize, oh, he's injured. He probably broke his hand, dislocated his shoulder. Something's happened. He's hurt. But he's got too much heart to give up.
This is the plot of Rocky Balboa when he fights Mason the Lion Dixon, played by Antonio Tarver. He breaks his hand on Rocky's calcified ribs in the first round.
Well, I didn't see that movie. So the point would be when these things happen to a fighter, you watch then, like, how are they going to get through? How are they going to get by? Well, they're hoping to win with just a lucky punch because professional fighters, especially heavyweights, can knock anybody out and anybody can get got with one punch, but you aren't able to set it up. So the odds are really against you and you just have to hang on for dear life and probably wear a bunch of punches in order to deliver one. I don't know that the analogy is quite the same here, but there is a mindset to having nothing to lose at that point, to just let it go. Let it go. You might get knocked out, but let it go. Just let it fly and let's see what happens. Maybe you land one. I hope, and I could see this being the case. Mike has been through a lot. I'm playing amateur psychologist here. But part of analyzing football and analyzing where a program's going and a mindset and a collective mindset and a locker room and a head coach and his thoughts about what he's building towards or what he's moving away from is getting a sense of the way that they think. And you learn these things through context gained at practice by watching and going to practice and listening to press conferences and looking into their eyes when they talk about subject matter that they're impassioned by, frustrated by, saddened by, or enthused. And so you watch all those things. And to me, I feel like Mike, this could be an emotional moment for Mike. Think about what he's gone through with this team and what he got them to commit to and what he got them to succeed with and what he achieved this season. Where they came from just 2 years ago, 5-7, then they get to 10-3, 13-0, and their reward is that they get screwed by the committee. Well, that's emotional in and of itself. From there, you watch this exodus of players, and you saw the hurt within this collective group, right? How frustrated they were. A lot of these guys were broken. Mike described it himself as the toughest 2 weeks that he had ever been through in coaching, right? I believe that was the phrase or the way he described it. Mm-hmm. If you have a speech to give in the locker room tomorrow before taking the field against Georgia, seriously outmanned because of what's happened since that snub, you could see a scenario by which he tells them, I love you. I appreciate you in ways you can never understand. Those of you that are suiting up here today, embarking on this goal, playing this team on this stage right now, I'll love you forever. And I care about you, and I want you to go have fun. Let's just let it fly. Let's just let it fly. Whatever happens, happens. I promise you, if the final score is 55-7, or if we win 21-20, I'm going to feel the same way about you. I'm going to love you. I'm going to say thank you, and I'm going to tell you how much it means to me. You could see this getting emotional for him because it's been a really tough couple of weeks here, really rough stretch. And he really felt the pain of those kids getting absolutely jobbed by the committee. And you saw it. I've watched that video several times. It hurts me to watch that video when they make that announcement and you see his head sink and you see the reaction of the players, which I'll never forgive ESPN for setting up a camera in that locker room knowing damn well what they were about to do. But that when you watch that, you can see a lot of pain, a lot of frustration, and a lot of hurt for those kids. So, maybe it's an all-time win one for the Gipper kind of speeches. Maybe it's an all-time, like, guys, we got nothing to lose. Nobody thinks we can win this game. Nobody suspects we'll even compete in this game. I mean, we're 20-point underdogs, according to Vegas. Let's go have fun. I'm going to call this game crazy. We're going to run plays that nobody's ever seen this year. We're going to run, flea flickers galore. We're going to double reverses, everything, the kitchen sink, as we like to say, Tom, right? We're going to throw everything in the world. They could do that. It could be that kind of game, and that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, embrace it. Embrace the chaos. If they can do it, if they can summon it, it would be great to see. It's just, as you're putting it, it's unforgivable because they know in the production truck what's going on. They know what's going to happen. And it's a standard thing on the field of play that, knowing some people in the truck as we do, it's a standard thing that you get the celebration shot. Easiest example is a World Series. You get the celebration shot. There's a mobbing
loser
at the mound. Then you do have to establish, the team that lost. You do have to establish what's going on over there. This is not the field of play.
No.
This was an invitational situation. You did not have to do that. It's ridiculous. And it also is a moment for a coach where he says, if you do all the right things and trust in what I'm telling you, things are going to work out for you. And then he realizes in that moment that he has a different lesson that he needs to teach these kids, which is you can do everything right and still get screwed by the world.
That's a tough one to have to, yeah.
Because that's the antithesis of everything he said for the last year. Now, it's not his fault, but it's just that's the reality that he has to, in that moment, confront. And that's why his head is sinking. And that's why he's saying, dear God, that's the speech I have to give now? And what sucks for him, and why no matter what happens from here on out with Mike Norvell's tenure at Florida State, and I'm not eulogizing it, I'm just saying no matter where this goes, it could go to a national title, or it could go to maybe we've got a different guy in that chair 5 years from now. Nobody's tougher than that dude. Nobody is tougher than that dude. You think about when he first took the job, he had a month, 2 months to set up shop, and then COVID happens, and he can't establish relationships out the gate. Like, he doesn't get the benefit that every new coach gets, which is one recruiting cycle of being able to sell hope, unfettered hope. You got the new car smell. He had basically 2 years where he couldn't recruit face-to-face. He had to build it from there. And then he climbs all the way. He fights through all that BS that is out of his control. He wins 19 in a row, 13 straight this year, and is the first Power 5 team in history to be left out of the College Football Invitational. Nobody's tougher than Mike Norvell in the college coaching business. Nobody has had to deal with more crap than this guy. It's unbelievable. And if he's a little emotional tomorrow, pregame, postgame, halftime interview, you know what? I can understand why, because good God, this guy's snake bit since he got here.
Yeah, and but he's also got to be proud of what they've done and what they've accomplished, and they can never lose sight of that. They did go 13-0. They did win the conference championship. They did everything they were supposed to do, and I do like that it's connected with a lot of people. Shaheem Brown's quote in the Warchant article, you guys go over to warchant.com, talking about why he came back and why he's going to play, quote, the relationships that you build. You can ask any of these guys that left. They didn't want to leave. Being with the guys that you're with every day, it's special. I could never leave that. And then he went on to talk about, what his mom told him about, hey, it's how tough it's been. This ain't the last time you're going to be cheated in life or snubbed in life. And that was to your point just now, his mom telling him that. And that was the message that Mike had to give his team after that. It's been hard. Everybody handles this a different way. I've talked a lot about the reasons that things have gone bad for Florida State, that snub and sort of the toxicity of that entered the locker room in a way that maybe we could not have predicted. Like, okay, it's one thing to have a conversation about not getting the invite and being left out and being the first ever undefeated Power 5 conference champion to be left out. And you kind of process that. But I'm a 52-year-old man.
Right.
You're 38 years old. There are, I believe, right?
37.
Yeah, 37. All right. So, but you're 37 going on 60. So the thing is, and I mean that as a compliment, the thing is we've experienced the good and the bad and the lots of heartbreak and everything in between, right? Joy, exhilaration, sadness, all of it. And it gives you perspective. It gives you something to fall back on when you are hit with a serious disappointment or a shocking snub in this case, or whatever it might be. You have the tools to deal with it because you've been around the block. You've had to deal with it before. Many of them never have. And so it's not surprising to me that young men, and especially, and we've talked about this before, kids 18 to 22 years old, men mature much slower than women. We're buffoons. And that's why our death rate is so high and why we take crazy risks physically and do all kinds of dumb things, right? Our brains are still developing. We now know this. This is the science of it. My point would be, young men experiencing bitter disappointment do not channel that energy collectively 100% of the time in the right direction. They don't often take a step back, especially when they don't have perspective, and make smart choices. So Mike has had to encounter that and deal with that and try to talk with these kids individually, and every one of them handling this differently, different maturity levels, different life experiences. That is everything but football. That's not football. That's life. You're doing a lot of life coaching right now, a whole lot of life development right now, and trying to teach in these moments of adversity. But what you're not doing is talking about the X's and O's. What you're not doing is preparing for a football game. And that's why I hate it for them. And that's why I talk about the emotional aspect of this game tomorrow. That sucks for him, man. That's brutal. What a brutal way to have to go play Georgia.
Yeah, and that's where, again, this is never going to be resolved for us as a fan base. The expansion of the playoff and whatever happens for this program in the near future, get into a different conference, whatever it is. Like, we're always going to look back at this as an unfinished business, as a story without an ending, just like the 2020 NCAA tournament season, and in which we expected that basketball team during COVID to go to the Final Four. Well, we're never going to know. We're never going to know. And that's going to stick in our craw. And it's hard enough for us to be able to do that. We have the tools through maturity to deal with things like this, but it's still not easy. We're struggling with it. So this game, to your point, like, as media members, when we're breaking down Florida State versus Georgia in the Orange Bowl, it's anything but what happens on the field. It's anything but, what's the final score going to be? How is our defensive line going to hold up against their offensive line? It's about all the other superfluous nonsense floating around the game. And that's hard enough for our job, but that's what, yeah, you're right, Mike has to deal with. That's what the coaching staff has to deal with. That's what they've got, mental conditioning coaches. Can you imagine the month that they just had behind the scenes, like the sports psych staff?
Yeah.
It's impossible. It's an impossible situation. And again, that's why no matter what happens on the field tomorrow, for all of these guys have been through, it's truly unprecedented. what this roster, what this coaching staff has been through this month, whatever they do, I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of this group. That 13-0 season will always be 13-0, and this is going to be an isolated moment. Whatever happens tomorrow, even if it's a win, it's a separate thing. But I couldn't be prouder of this group because nobody's faced what they've had to go through the last 26, 27 days. It's ridiculous.
You allowed me for less than 5 seconds to think about a win when you said even if they win. Quickly in my head, I thought, yeah, what if they win? I don't think they're going to, but what if they do?
Even if they did, though, it's a separate thing. You got to be consistent both ways on that.
Yeah,
It's a different group.
It'd be a hell of a thing, though. Artisan Financial Strategies, those are my friends and collaborators. We've got to do Red Zone next. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Excellence defines us, so we'll never let orthopedic pain and injury define you. TOC is a physician-led team of fellowship-trained specialists, providing the highest level of orthopedic care in the region. With 12 centers of excellence and TOC Now urgent care clinics, our patients access affordable expert care fast. TOC, only experts. Schedule an appointment at teamtoc.com.
The perfect gift under the tree this year is a new spa or hot tub from Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas. There's nothing like resting your jolly old soul in the spa after a long, stressful day. And it's the gift that keeps on giving all year long. Heat up your holiday with the end-of-year sale going on now at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas. During the month of December, go to our new website, TallahasseeHotSpring.com, and fill out the contact form to receive an instant $1,000 off coupon towards the purchase of a Hot Springs hot tub. Get in touch now before this deal ends. Also, take advantage of up to $6,200 off select High Life models and get a free accessory with the purchase of your new hot spring spa with affordable financing for qualified buyers. Come see Cameron. Visit TallahasseeHotSpring.com or check us out on Facebook or Instagram. That's TallahasseeHotSpring.com. Coupon cannot be combined with any other offer. Come see us for the end of year sale. Happy holidays.
Tallahassee's 30-year-old funny paper and American Legion Post 13 have joined forces to become Major Morale. The new magazine has 4 more pages of post activities and military information that you probably never knew. But don't worry, it's still as politically correct and newsworthy as always. Okay, it's the same funny stuff, but it's still only available at the sponsors' locations like ABC Flooring, Tallahassee Automobile Museum, Krispy Kreme, or Keith Lawson Services, providing professional services and maintenance for your home's most critical systems for over 39 years. If you need air conditioning, heating, or plumbing repairs, you will receive an upfront written quote, and the job will be done on time by the area's most advanced, highly trained professionals. Keith Lawson Services, Florida license CMC 1250-456 and CFC 1429-197.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're fine.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service, right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mandlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.
Welcome back. It's time for the Red Zone, which we always appreciate doing, and I especially appreciate the sounder that Tom put together. I do want to make mention yet again, you saw it was in the chat a couple of weeks ago, maybe it was last week, where somebody came online in the discussion over there in the chat and said that they were so happy that we were talking about Artisan Financial Strategies and what a business they are, and they were glad we were collaborating with them because Adam and his team had helped this individual with their financial planning. He and his team have done that for many a folk. And I should note that we all know it's important, obviously, to score in the red zone, but you got to be prepared for success in the retirement red zone as well. And that would be the 5 years leading up to your retirement date in the immediate 5 years after, being critical times of thoughtful planning for you and your family. And our friend and fellow Knoll, Adam Tolliver, and his team at Artisan Financial Strategies, prepared to coach you to victory. Obviously, some of us midfield, planning ahead, trying to figure out how to get in and score there in the red zone. Some of us are on the goal line ready to punch it in. Got to be able to make sure you plan your financial future so that you don't run out of money. You protect yourself and your family against rising healthcare costs, and you plan your legacy. The Artisan team brings a combined 30-plus years of planning experience, world-class resources, which will help you navigate the way. For more information, here you go. It's all one word, knollretirement.com. Go check it out. I promise you. You'll be very impressed. Reach out to Adam and his crew, knollretirement.com. And let's get to it.
Welcome to the majesty.
Every freaking rep.
The elegance.
To win the game. Oh, he hits the upright. It's no good.
You have entered.
Someone burned down the funeral home. You burnt the funeral home.
Lives will be changed.
Sideline. Touchdown. Unbelievable!
Mothers will cry.
When you see your players give all that they have and you lose that way, it's tough.
Legacies are etched into eternity.
I know who I am.
North, South Dakota was his brother from West Virginia.
This is the Red Zone.
That's good to know.
I laugh every time. I will tell you, the sideline touchdown is an incredible call.
It is. And we've discussed this. Like, Joe Buck had a moment where he decided, I'm not going to be Pat Summerall and I'm going to be enthusiastic about football.
That call is like, it's up there as an all-timer. It is a great, great call.
It happened to the great Sean Payton. That was the Minneapolis Miracle. It happened to he's sitting Mr. Unlimited. You see that? What a storyline they got cooking over there in Denver.
Well, I'm kind of not surprised, but man, what a mess. Is that $95 million in dead money?
It's if it's not 90, it's very close to 90.
85 to $90 million in dead money is what I was reading.
And Russ is not wrong. And Russ is not wrong to say, pound sand. You're telling me to get rid of my guarantee? I negotiated the contract. Screw you.
Yeah, no, Denver made a huge mistake when they signed him to the deal that they signed him, and now Sean's inherited that. And I will say this, Sean Payton is not likable, but he has done a good job this year after a disastrous start. He got this team to play. I wouldn't want Russell Wilson as my starting quarterback either. He's pretty well on the backside of his career. He's insufferable on a day-to-day basis to have in the locker room. I don't think, from what I can tell, there's anybody over there that likes him in any way, shape, or form. He seems like a fake, detestable human being. So, you probably find it hard to have that as your unquestioned leader moving forward. He was biding time until he could try to find a way to bring somebody else in here. But I don't know what their quarterback plan is. They've won too many games to get one of the elite ones in the draft. And it's a weird situation.
No, it was leaked out there by Peyton that he wants the offense to be run the way his offense is designed. So Russ is going rogue again. It's just, that's awesome. That's awesome.
He's been doing that for some time.
Yeah.
He's been doing that for some time. All right. What other question? I'm curious. What's first down here?
Well, I'm curious to your answers because you're going to have to paint a picture of the game, whether you want to or not, with these 4 downs. You're going to have to.
I don't know how.
First down.
Yeah.
Brock Glenn will throw for over or under 157 and a half yards tomorrow. 150.
Is that actual over under on the yardage? Did you look?
Nope. That's just me. He threw for 55 in the ACC championship. I need you to project with the offensive line, not knowing who's in, who's out, 157 and a half yards.
This is an exercise in futility. I'll say over.
Okay. All right. All right. Now, Keziah Holmes, second down.
Yeah.
Keziah Holmes, over or under 14.5 carries?
Over.
Okay. You don't think they're going to rotate around? It's going to be the Keziah Holmes show.
Keziah has to carry the load, and I like Keziah Holmes. I hope he does carry the load. I just hope they can block it up for him.
Okay. Third down. Total number of catches combined for the following three players: Destin Hill, Hakeem Williams, Vandravius Jacobs. They will combine for how many catches?
The one problem I have with this is that is Hakeem healthy? What's going on with Hakeem Williams? I cannot figure this out. Did he suffer the most devastating injury in the history of injuries? I mean, he's been missing for weeks and weeks and weeks, and yet we don't hear of a surgery or anything. What the hell happened?
They put the kibosh on practice talk leading up to this game. I don't know, honestly, and he's on the 2 deep. So that there's a bit of projection going on here. Destin was hurt forever in a day, and Vandravius is on the 2 deep. So if they're going to rotate in, you're going to have to do some guessing like everybody else.
I mean, Jesus Lord, man. Those three will combine for over 9 catches.
Okay. All right. That's good enough.
Over
those
9.
Are some highlights. I want to see those 9 catches. They're good players.
Yeah, I'll go over 9.
All right, so 10. Fourth down. The best defensive player for Florida State tomorrow will be blank.
Well, I think Braden Fisk is going to play, and I think he's going to play a lot. So Braden Fisk.
Okay. I was wondering if you would go Darrell Jackson. That was a Darrell Jackson question.
It's hard to know how Darrell Jackson will play. He hasn't played all year long. He hasn't played in a game. It's a lot different playing in a game than it is in practice. He can be a dominant player, and I sure hope he is tomorrow. I don't know what to think about how Darrell Jackson's going to do. I'll fall back on a guy who I know is playing well, has played well down the stretch, and has a tireless motor. Braden Fisk.
Okay, so the story basically is this, that Brock Glenn's going to throw for at least 158 yards. There's going to be at least 10 completions in the game, and Keziah Holmes is going to get at least 15 carries. There you go. That's the story of the game tomorrow.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean they're productive. It doesn't mean that they're great. He could throw for 160 yards. They each could have 3 catches, and Keziah Holmes could have 14 carries for 16 yards. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a tough day. But I think they have to. I mean, there are 60 to 65 plays they're going to run in the game. They got to go to somebody. So that's where I'll go. I think if Georgia in any way is trying to make a statement of any kind, and they have their starting quarterback and a few of their starters playing on both offense and defense, and I think they will, then Florida State's in deep trouble. They're in deep trouble if that's what they're out to do. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the important thing to know, and we can't until we get into the second quarter and the third quarter, of the core 16, I'm going to call them the core 16, the 11 starters on defense and the 5 offensive linemen. If those guys that are on the top line of the 2 deep are playing deep into the second quarter and into the third quarter, then Florida State at least has a chance to keep it within reason. But if they're rotating guys in and out, and they already have, that's what they do, generally speaking, they rotate a lot of dudes. If they're doing that tomorrow, then yeah, you're absolutely correct. If they want to make a statement, they can.
The other problem is, Tom, and this is where I really worry for Brock Glenn, and I worry for Keziah Holmes, and I worry for this offense in general. Let's not pretend this starting offensive line was any good when they did play. They were okay. Now they're going against Georgia.
I don't know. They're decent in pass pro, which is that will keep Brock upright if they're decent in pass pro.
No, it's going to be tough times. Don't forget about our friends at Artisan Financial Strategies, and don't forget, as I tell you every week, KnollRetirement.com. Go check it out, KnollRetirement.com. I think you'll be impressed, and I would strongly encourage you reaching out to Adam. Chef Cameron Show, we got to get some wagers in here with my mother. She retains a 2-game lead on me. We'll do that next.
At Epps Decorating Center, we're your locally owned Benjamin Moore retailer. We're your store for quality with brilliant and durable paints in a variety of sheens and thousands of colors. We're your store for service with one-on-one advice for contractors and homeowners. We're your local experts, and we're here to help with all your painting projects. Benjamin Moore, available at Epps Decorating Center with 2 locations in Tallahassee. Find a store near you and visit EppsDecorating.com. That's EppsDecorating.com.
So everybody knows, Eddie, that you are a spectacular cook. Of course they know that. If they go into Bumpa's, the food is always good. I mean, everything on the menu. Everything at Gordo's is delicious. I always, of course, get the bungalow chungla, as I call it.
The bungalow chung, Jeff?
Is that what is the pork?
The bungalow chung, Jeff.
Okay, the bungalow chungla. It's delicious. All these things, all the items, everything you do, a master cook. But, sir, I would ask you, what is a skill that you possess that you're particularly proud of that nobody would know and that you could share with us here?
Growing hair, Jeff. Growing hair.
You're an asshole. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk Night.
No way we would go through a Libations Friday edition of the Jeff Cameron Show without getting picks from my mom, who remains 2 games up on me right now as we split last week. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Still a lot of football to be played over the next 2 weeks, plus the playoffs. But she holds on to a 2-game lead. I'm finding it hard to break through and get past this barrier. She's been good all year. Just when I gain some gains, I turn around and lose them the following week. So that's where we're at. I'll allow the sounder to play, and then we'll get started here in just a moment. And there she is. Hello, Mama. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. I'm good. Merry Christmas, everybody. I think I said that before, but anyway, we all survived.
We did. Good times. And oh, by the way, you're up to, as I just told the audience, and I would also point out that we both had Cleveland last night, and the Joe Flacco story continues to be one of the surprises of the NFL. Good for him. They killed the Jets. Yeah.
Yeah, good for him is right. I know. Well, the Jets, if they, hadn't lost their quarterback, you just don't know what would have happened if he was playing.
Yeah. Well, what a shame. I hate Aaron Rodgers. Who cares? Here we go.
I know.
Detroit at Dallas.
Yeah, I've got to pick Dallas, but I think that could be a really good game.
I agree. I'll take Dallas. Should be a fun game. That's a Saturday game for everybody wondering. That is an 8 o'clock primetime on Saturday game on December 30th. Should be a lot of fun. Okay, here we go. New England at Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Atlanta at Chicago.
Atlanta. This game concerns me. I took Chicago.
Yeah, I did too. I like the Bears playing pretty well right now, actually.
Yeah.
Las Vegas at Indianapolis.
I'm taking Indy.
Tough game, though.
It is a tough game.
I'll take Indy as well. The Rams are at the Giants.
Rams.
Don't want to play the Rams right now. Team's playing
really,
really well.
Really playing. Matthew Stafford's, he's kicking butts and taking names.
Arizona at Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. But I'm going to tell you, I'm Philadelphia. There's some teams here. These teams that everybody thinks are so great are faltering.
Well, Philly's in trouble. They've got some infighting going on. They keep losing football games. But they're not in trouble to the tune of losing to Arizona.
I wouldn't think so.
All right, here you go.
Wouldn't it be fun if they did?
It would be funny. The first place Tampa Bay Buccaneers with an opportunity to salt away the NFC South Division yet again as they host the New Orleans Saints.
I'm sticking with my Buckaroos. They have a lot to play for, and they're home, and I think they're playing well. So I know New Orleans always gives us trouble, but I'm sticking with my Bucks.
I think Lattimore is going to miss this game for the Saints, so thank God Mike Evans will breathe a sigh of relief if that's true.
That's true.
But I would also say that this has been a fun year. There's very rarely do you go into a season, or do I go into a season anyhow, with an outlook like I had, only to be completely surprised by the results. And Baker Mayfield has won me over completely. I have enjoyed watching him play. And the oddity is, at first when he won me over, it was because he was tough and because he clearly cared and he had a lot of fight in him. And that's admirable. You want to see that, right?
Right, of courst.
And then I realized that his teammates clearly like him, like they really like him, and that's obvious too. But then lately, he's just making big-time NFL throws. He's making the kinds of plays that he was wildly inconsistent in making in his previous stops. So he's found something. There's a real confidence there, and the Bucs are probably going to win this division and host a playoff game. It's cool.
It is very cool, and I'm happy for him. And these players, they do really seem to like him. And I think it is because he's tough and he hangs in there and he really, wants to win. And 2 throws he made last week were amazing.
Yeah.
That one to Mike Evans in the end zone, and then I think the other one might have been to Godwin. I'm not sure. It might have been to Mike too. But, I mean, they were right between 2 defenders. I was like, oh, my God.
Tom brought up a couple of those throws on yesterday's show, and I agreed with him. Yeah, it's been fun. The other thing that's weird that nobody wants to talk about down in Tampa Bay, but I think we should all be able to talk about it. It's been a breath of fresh air not having Tom Brady. I guarantee you those guys I have a suspicion they like Baker a little bit more than they did in Tom's final year. Tom was a mess. He was going through a divorce. He was missing practices. He wasn't there before the start of the season. Remember all that stuff with Tom Brady? Nowhere to be found. It didn't. Yeah, that wasn't cool. I don't think people enjoyed that very much.
I know. And another interesting thing, because I have not been a Todd Bowles fan, but I know I told you about that article that was in our paper yesterday. And as much as I have been getting rid of him, I don't know, it seems like I don't like his demeanor. I want him to be more passionate and all of that, but maybe he's stuck with these young guys and everything, and they're kind of believing in him, and they say they really like him in that article. And I think Wirfs said he's like one of the best coaches he's ever had.
Well, it's working out right now. He's going to win the division. He's not going to get fired. So there's that. Yeah.
So anyway, so maybe, I need to just say I was maybe a little hasty in my.
Might have been wrong.
I might have been. We'll see.
San Francisco at Washington.
San Fran.
Carolina at Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
I guess.
I know. I guess is right. But I just think they've got to be a little better, and they still have a chance to do the playoffs and everything. So Carolina, not so much.
No, Carolina's awful. Here's a stat for everybody. The Carolina Panthers over the last 6 games have had the lead for a grand total in all 6 games combined for 11 seconds.
Oh my. That's quite the statistic.
That'll hurt your feelings. Miami at Baltimore.
Yeah, that's a good game. I got to take Baltimore.
Tennessee at Houston.
Houston.
Pittsburgh at Seattle.
Now that game is another one. I'm taking Seattle.
Los Angeles, the Chargers at Denver.
Denver.
Cincinnati at Kansas City.
This game, if I was a brave soul, I would take Cincinnati. But without whoever.
He hasn't been there in weeks, Mom.
I know that.
Joe Burrow. It's Joe Burrow.
His name just went right out of my head. I'm taking Kansas City, but I think Kansas City's a mess too.
Well, they are. They don't have any receivers, so that's a problem.
And Mahomes is not being too Mahomes-ish. I mean, he's screwing up too.
When you don't have receivers, it's hard to be Mahomes-ish.
Well, I know, but even the receivers he has, like Kelsey or whoever, Kelsey's throwing his helmet. They're getting all aggravated.
Yeah. It's beautiful to see.
But I'm
Green Bay at Minnesota.
I'm taking Minnesota.
We have every game the exact same. Are you kidding me?
Oh, wow. Well, and who knew? And I mean, and I didn't even look at my sheet here hardly.
This stinks. This stinks. We've got every game exactly the same. I believe that's right.
It is. It is.
Boo.
Well,
boo.
So I'll go into the next week too up. I'm hanging on by my fingernails.
Yeah, I don't like this. Next time I'm going to make you pick somebody different. That's ridiculous. All right. Bye, Mom. Love you.
Love you too. Happy New Year to everybody. Stay safe and have a good New Year.
All right, we'll talk again next week. Love you.
All right, love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That's Mama. It's always fun to talk to Mom, but it was a little less fun today because we have the exact same games. There's nothing to hang your hat on, but she'll have the lead going into next week as well. These all seem pretty straightforward in the world of picking these games. I agree. Maybe Cincinnati wins. We'll see. Chef Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Power Mill Training Academy equips motivated athletes focused on baseball and softball with the specific tools to reach their true potential. Now, you'll read that if you go to their website, but I'm here to tell you that, look, whether it's your daughter wanting to play softball, your son wants to play baseball, or maybe they just want to have fun and get the most out of their abilities, and that's where Power Mill comes into play. They've got coaches and camps that teach for every level of play for your son or your daughter. To learn more, go to PowerMillSports.com.
The perfect gift under the tree this year is a new spa or hot tub from Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas. There's nothing like resting your jolly old soul in the spa after a long, stressful day. And it's the gift that keeps on giving all year long. Heat up your holiday with the end-of-year sale going on now at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas. During the month of December, go to our new website, TallahasseeHotSpring.com, and fill out the contact form to receive an instant $1,000 off coupon towards the purchase of a Hot Springs hot tub. Get in touch now before this deal ends. Also, take advantage of up to $6,200 off select High Life models and get a free accessory with the purchase of your new Hot Spring Spa with affordable financing for qualified buyers. Come see Cameron. Visit TallahasseeHotSpring.com or check us out on Facebook or Instagram. That's TallahasseeHotSpring.com. Coupon cannot be combined with any other offer. Come see us for the end-of-year sale. Happy holidays.
I'm Greg Tisch, and I'm here to tell you about TCC's first semester. In the fall of 1966, about 300 students were expected to enroll at the brand new Tallahassee Junior College. A total of 698 enrolled, exceeding everyone's expectations. The campus was not finished, though, so classes took place in Rickards High School and then Godby High School. Today, TCC has 7 campuses and enrolls around 15,000 students annually.
TCC thanks our community for 58 years of support. We look forward to moving into the future together.
Hi, this is Justin Colvin, founder of the Medicare Help Desk. I routinely speak to seniors who are overwhelmed by the multitude of coverage options available to them. That's why I created the Medicare Help Desk radio show. Tune in every Sunday at 11:30 a.m. where I provide clear answers to all your questions about Medicare.
Before you buy that new iPhone or iPad, be sure to talk to the experts at Mac & More Systems to make sure all your older products will play nice with your new gear. Mac & More Systems has the best deals, advice, and the best support for all of your Mac products. Give them a call today, 894-3622.
This is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. If you're a dad who is facing divorce, there are extra layers of stress that may include stereotypes and assumptions. No two situations are the same. Our legal experience and dedication prepare us for whatever legal challenges we face together. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has represented men in divorce.
CordellCordell.com. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Scott Trout, licensed in Missouri, Illinois, and Georgia only. 904-323-0000. 1 Independent Drive, Suite 2200, Jacksonville, Florida, 32202.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Want to thank our friends, as always, at Zaxby's, delicious Zaxby's, 157 locations now in Tallahassee. My God, 3 more popped up just last night. It's amazing. Everywhere you drive in this town, you get past the hill, you took to your left, there's a Zaxby's. Go down the hill, turn to your right, there's a Zaxby's. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing, because who doesn't want some Zaxby's in their life on the regular? And you have the opportunity to go and feast delicious Zaxby's.
Don't forget the Texas toast. I know they're pushing the chicken Philly right now, and that's delightful, but it's just that is a clutch side item, especially during the holidays. You're just trying to pick on something. That Texas toast has some good staying power.
Quality Texas toast indeed. You know what you can do with that Texas toast? You can stick it in the Zax sauce. You can stick it in the Zax sauce and get after it. I like to do that myself. Thank you, Zaxby's, proud Golden Chief boosters for over 18 years. We appreciate you very much so. By the way, I also want to note, because some of you have inquired, even wrote into the station to inquire, that here at 93.3, that we didn't do our Bowls swag segment. Guys, it's been 2 years. Believe me, Tom and I love doing the Bowl swag segment. It's one of our favorite segments. We've been doing it for years and years and years. 15 years we've been doing it. But you know what? It's been rendered moot. They don't exist. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. You can just give kids money. This is the way the world we live in now. The sport is all up in shambles here. We don't know. There is no really gift suite or cool. I mean, it used to be fun to talk about the watches and the belt buckles and the hats. And we loved the Sounders and the boots. Remember the boots? Remember they were giving the Miami kids boots, cowboy boots? That was the best.
That's right. Yeah, but, the belt buckle and the hat, the cowboy hat.
Oh,
I think
it was the best.
The champion always was the 2 Orlando Bowls. They did the most consistent job. There was a time where the Fiesta Bowl was sponsored by Sony, and so they would give out PS5s, and that was awesome. Mm-hmm. But I think the winner, if you weren't talking about location for like the Aloha Bowl or the Bahamas Bowl or whatever,
location's important. Yeah,
it was Orlando, because they would give you the maximum allowable in a Best Buy gift card. It was like 400 bones. That was always the winner. But it's just so funny now, because you say $400 and you think about NIL, you're like, yeah, why even bother? For these kids now, it's not a $100 handshake. It's a contract they sign.
Yeah, it's a contract and maybe a condo. I mean, it's like a lot of things. There's a lot going on there, a car and a condo. It's not like, hey, I got a new PlayStation.
Maybe we should do the Battle's End swag list. And maybe we could find out that information. I'm sure they don't want to share that whatsoever, but maybe we can come up with a power ranking of the things that they give out.
Oh, I know some of the things they give out. I would tell you to go to thebattlesinn.com, though, and also purchase some of the things that they have available to you, which is like autograph posters and pictures and things of the ilk and experiences and all that good stuff. Go see our friends at the Battles Inn. They could use your help right about now. And by the way, I think we're going to score big in the transfer portal. So hang in there, everybody. It's a tumultuous time in college football, and it's hard to read the tea leaves in any given year with the roster and where things are headed. But you need a strong collective always, and the Battles Inn has been that for us, so it's worth mentioning there. But yeah, it's kind of been a ruined situation as far as the swag segment that we used to love to do. It's unfortunate, but that's where we're at, and I wish it were different. If it were a different Tom, we would be doing that segment right now.
So I know what you're saying about the bowl games being interesting mostly because of live wagering.
It's just gambling. That's all it is, yeah.
Have you had a favorite one that you've watched so far? Like just maybe even for entertainment value that you get as a secondary benefit of watching the game?
I'll look at the wagers won on here, and I will tell you.
As you're looking, I will share with the audience. I'm very proudly a part of the app here in this state. Yesterday, I nailed the under on a live wager because I bet during the monsoon in the first quarter of the Fenway Bowl, when 3 points were scored, that 37 would be the number.
Oh, buddy.
And that missed extra point kept it in play, and somehow, some way, despite Rhett Lashley calling timeouts with under 2 minutes to go and being petty, Jeff Hafley was a class act and put the knee in the ground, and we hit 37 on the number for a woo of a win.
Very, very quietly, Jeff Hafley had himself a fine season of coaching, by the way. Very quietly. I will tell you that in the bowl season, per se, the USF game because I bet them on the money line, and I just thought they're going to win the game. They're going to win the game, and I hammered it over and over and over again. And then I was just like, well, this is ridiculous. Why is Vegas favoring Syracuse? I do not understand this. And I just kept hitting. I'm like, I've never been more sure in my life of how I thought a game was going to go than that game.
So I can tell you, if gambling is on your mind out there, and I know that old Bob Fiore out there, if he's watching, hello, Bob, how are you? He's at, where the hell are the
I had Arizona last night -2.5, and I also had the Mavericks plus 16.5 in the NBA, and I took the Celtics at a really good number when they were down 20.
That story will keep off the air because of the numbers involved at play.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to get into the hockey now in terms of the totals.
Here we go.
It's totals that I'm playing. You know, it's the overs and the unders. And right now I've hit 2 in a row for the Lightning as an experiment. I don't share them with you because I'm experimenting. But right now playing the under with the Lightning, if it's at 6.5 or higher, is a good idea. They're playing the Rangers tomorrow, and that's the Rangers' second of a back-to-back. So I like the Lightning, but I also like the under at 6.5 if it's that high.
I'm going to tell you on Monday, I'll come in here with a number for us to talk about. I mean, maybe I'll mention it in passing because we'll have to recap the football game. Or maybe, no, that's not Monday. Is Monday New Year's? We're not doing a show on New Year's. Maybe the day after, whatever the hell. The next time we come back on the air. I do know that right now, a goal in the first 10 minutes is a bet that you can make. There are 2 teams. I'll just put it out there and then we'll revisit this. There are 2 teams that have scored a goal in the first, has either given up a goal or scored a goal in the first 10 minutes of their games in the first period, 16 straight times, Tom.
Okay.
And one of those teams scores a goal in the first 10 minutes of every effing game they play. It has become an ATM.
Sounds like Edmonton, but we'll see who it is.
I'll let you guys know, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of bring those numbers together, and we'll do some fun things with it. All right, brother. Always appreciate it. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Pregame show 3:00, everybody. 3:00 tomorrow. We are on the air. Look forward to talking to you then for the pregame show. Be well. Hang in there. Deep breaths, everybody. Peace.